Good morning and welcome to our midweek edition of the program Summit. We transmit live from Lagos in our studios. My name is Jumoke Michaels. You're welcome. Banji, good to be here.
Yes, we transmit right from the commercial
Center.
the commercial, capital of this country. That's Lagos, and the state capital, that's in Ikeja here. My name is Banji Busari. It's a fresh edition of the program, and I assure you that this one is going to be very, very exciting, enriching, and very, very engaging. So you are welcome.
All right, so we have two major issues we'll be looking at on the program this morning. We'll be talking about the NSAS report examining the Lagos State White Paper. We all know that that paper was released yesterday, late yesterday, and we'll be looking at some of the recommendations that the white paper carries. Also, we'll be looking at the terror attack on correctional centers in Nigeria. That seems to be becoming a kind of norm, but we hope that it doesn't get beyond where it is now. And so those are the two issues we'll be looking at on the program this morning. And we have joining us on the program Mr. Ademola Adegoke, a public affairs analyst, and of course he's our friend. You're welcome, sir.
Good morning.
Good to have you join us.
It's great to have you here.
Back at home. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, when the issues are big enough, we think of Mr. Adegoke.
Thank you.
Well, yesterday was very historic. The governor of the state, that's Babajide Sanwo-Olu, actually made good his promise. The promise he made 2 weeks ago that he was going to come out, that the government was going to come out with a white paper based on the report submitted by the judicial panel on restitution on the Lekki toll gate issues last year. The governor actually made good his promise, read a speech to the state where he attempted to calm the frayed nerves. That's particularly those who were aggrieved in one way or the other. And actually did promise that the white paper was going to come up later in the day. That was also another promise that he actually fulfilled. So I say kudos to our governor for actually keeping his word and making his word his bond. Well, that's the situation started yesterday. There have been several comments following the outcome of the white paper. Of course, the white paper had been very, very much expected, and it's out. And out of the 32 recommendations of the judicial panel, the state governor, based on the recommendation of the 4-man panel on the white paper, had actually chosen to accept 11 out of the 32 recommendations. 6 were equally accepted with modifications. Then 1 was completely rejected, making 18. The remaining 14 were actually packaged, and the governor promised to send them to the federal government, owing to the fact that he said the state does not have the capacity to handle the recommendations. So what was your reaction? I'm sure you've seen the white paper.
I have seen at least some parts of it.
But let's start from the speech, the governor's speech. What can you make of that speech, the earlier speech before the white paper?
Well, the governor, like you said, tried to calm, frayed nerves, and he can be seen as someone that is trying to, even using his own word, to put a closure to the NSAS saga, and he's trying as much as possible to ensure that the state, Lagos State, which felt the impact of the NSAS protest much more than any other state, is brought back on its full footing, and that everything can start going running seamlessly as before. One understands the governor's position from that. He also proposed a peace walk, and he invited some people to come join him in working for peace. Yes, peace is desirable. My own take on this is that peace is desirable, and everybody loves peace because there can be no progress. There is nothing like, progress or advancement or human advancement in all strata of life without peace. But then there are ingredients that should be present before we talk of peace. And if we leave those ingredients, we will be making pretense to working towards peace, but we discover that that peace can never be attained. One, there cannot be peace without justice, and there cannot be justice without truth. So, truth leading to justice will bring peace. And the issue about the EndSARS protest is that there are some truths that are still not known, even as we speak. Even we had thought that the special judicial panel of inquiry will have been able to unearth certain facts about the EndSARS, but it's like we are even further, confused about certain things about the EndSARS protest. And so for me, we still have a long way to go in unearthing the truth about the EndSARS protest, especially as it has to do with the Lekki toll gate I don't want to use the word massacre, especially as it has to do with the incident that happened, at the Lekki toll gate. We still need to interrogate a lot of issues about that aspect of the protest.
In the sincerity of the government, this state government actually instituted that panel of inquiry a couple of days before October 20.
Yes.
That's to actually investigate cases of human rights abuses, brutality, and all that. And the governor in his speech yesterday also said that he chose to actually
include the issue of investigation.
Yes. That he chose truth over lies, and he chose light over darkness. That he could have gone the other way, but he chose because the government is actually interested in the truth, and then keeping his word by setting up the panel of inquiry. But let's look at, as a media consultant, which one should have come first, the speech that he read yesterday or the white paper?
I will have thought that the white paper should have come first, and then government will speak to the white paper. That is what I will have thought. That after the release of the white paper, government will now speak to the white paper, telling us why it took. Although they still did that in their statement, but it will have been best if that had come from the governor himself, as we saw him address the state yesterday. So for me, but maybe we can say now it does not really matter much. Like I said, I would have expected that the white paper will have been released and the government speaks to the content of the white paper. But now that it's out, maybe and the governor has addressed the state before the release of the white paper, maybe we should not belabor ourselves too much over which one should precede the other now. But what we should concern ourselves with is how much of truth have we gotten from the judicial panel of inquiry, and how much of truth have we also gotten from the white paper. So that should be our concern. Truth should be our concern now.
All right, but if you have seen that white paper, of course, like the other report that leaked, this one has not leaked like that, because what we have on the social media is just picture copies of that white paper report. Now, if you have read through, especially these 11 that the Lagos state government accepted, do you have some information on the one that have actually been accepted out of this 32?
Well, as at this morning, I have not actually, it's just the snippets that you have in the in the newspaper. I have concerned myself majorly with the one they rejected, you understand, and which is the one that has to do with the death at Lekki, and the recommendation, the alleged number of deaths at Lekki toll gate, and the recommendation by the panel that a monument be erected in memory of the people that died and that compensation be paid. And that is the major one in which the state picked holes, you know, in the recommendation of the recommendation and the report of the panel itself, you know, on the incident. Because let's take the issue of the people that died. The number, the panel listed 9 people that died, you know, at the protest, at the Lekki toll gate incident. But out of the 9, there was a repetition of the same name twice. There is also a case of
living
who had petitioned, you know, the panel that his brother died, and you know, ended up having his name being listed among the dead. So these are gaping holes, actually, that anybody will want. And in any case, you see, murder is a very weighty, because if people died, we want to know how did they die, because you may want to even pursue a case of murder in the court of law, and you don't pursue a case of murder on pedestrian grounds. There has to be, you know, an iron cast proof that the court will, you know, can convict anybody on. You don't secure conviction about murder on just, you know, pedestrian ground. You just, you know, there has to be, you know, like I've said, iron cast proofs that you will be able to, that the court will be able to hold on to say yes, a murder has been committed. For example, the pathologist, the pathologist that came to give witness before the panel said 3 people, you know, were brought, you know, 3 people died, you know, from Lekki incident, and only one, you know, was found to have died of gunshots.
Gun wounds, yes.
You understand? So now, for the same panel that reported that, to now say that 9 died in Lekki, and you are not giving us how they died. You know, did they die out of stampede? Who, you know, what led to their deaths? And again, you see, you will discover that 2 of the names on their list, you just have Wisdom and Tola. You can't. That for me is not a very good job by the panel. For me, I would have wanted, you know, a situation where, you know, the panel will have been able to say, this person died, he was treated, you know, he was treated in this hospital, he could not be taken to the hospital, this is the relation. I mean, people don't die, and, you know, the people that died are not anonymous. They do not exist in space. They are Nigerians with family relations and all that. So we expect that we will have gotten, you know, a more convincing, you know, evidentially based report from. And to that extent, I want to agree, you know, with the state government that probably the panel should have done a better job.
Now, there seems to be a meeting of minds now between the state government and the federal government on the issue of massacre. The state government in this white paper has rejected the use of the word massacre, that there were no arbitrary shootings or killings at Lekki toll gate, which was the line of thought of the Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, that's Alhaji Lai Mohammed. Now, and you have also corroborated that in your analysis now, that you have not been, the panel has not proven its case. That's the beyond reasonable doubt that people were actually massacred or killed at the toll gate. So, what can you make of all of this? I mean, do we say that the panel actually failed in its work, and has it actually added value in resolving the crisis?
You see, because I don't want to condemn the work of the panel in its entirety until one sees every detail of their. But as far as it concerns the number, and don't forget too that there were two reports, one on police brutality, the other on the Lekki tollgate incident. So the one we are looking at is the issue of Lekki tollgate. So, but as far as that Lekki tollgate incident is concerned, especially as it relates to the number of people that died at the Lekki tollgate, I think we have not gotten the best from the panel. But that's not to say that that's why you see I think I am deviating from a little from the position of the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, who rubbished and poo-pooed the entire report, saying a waste of taxpayers' money and all that. And even when Lai Mohammed was saying that, I was on another TV program, and I had said that everybody, including the Minister of Information himself, was as at that time jumping the gun, because what everybody was reacting to was the leaked report, not the official one. So Lai Mohammed was reacting to the leaked report that was not official, and the state government. And if you look at immediately the report came out, the president had earlier spoken and said that they will wait for response from the state government, that this panel was not instituted by the federal government, and as such they will allow the state government who instituted and in any case, Lagos state government is not the only state government that instituted panels. There are other panels all over Edo, Ekiti, and the rest of them, Rivers. So, but maybe Lagos state government version of the panel is generating much more interest than any other one, because we all know that this is the Lagos state is the epicenter of the whole protest.
Of course, that reflected in the governor's speech yesterday.
Yeah,
he said he could see with every authority that Lagos state government was much more involved in the EndSARS protest, much, and has even done much better than any state in the federation.
So that's why. But yes, there is an extent to which you will say that I am corroborating what the Lai Mohammed is saying. But Lai Mohammed, just condemned the report in its entirety. I am not doing that, because I do not. Like I said, I want to be availed of other, especially as it has to do with the police brutality. There may be I know that so many people also came to give evidence before the panel about their experience before the police. So to that extent,
before you actually close your submission, I'd like you to reconcile what you have said so far with the fact that even at the peak of all this crisis, the vice president, that's Professor Shibaju, allegedly also spoke with some of the victims of the EndSARS. So how do we actually place what happened then with this report?
You see, when we say victims of EndSARS, we should not limit victims of EndSARS to Lekki incident alone. You understand? Because there are private business owners who lost so much because of the EndSARS protest. Even the police itself, we know that some policemen were killed. They are Nigerians too. You understand? Some policemen were killed, stations were burned, vehicles were burned. You understand? Even a TV station was raised down. So all these are victims. I don't know, our own understanding of what or who a victim is. But you will agree with me that all these are victims of the EndSARS protest. You see, the thing about, like I said, I was on it on another station, on this similar issue when the Minister of Information made his reaction, and a co-analyst had made a brilliant categorization of the positions of Nigerians on this issue, and he brilliantly categorized the positions Nigerians have taken on this issue into three. You have the believers who want us to believe that everything that was said about Lekki happened, and should be taken hook, line, and sinker. There is also, the group that you can call the non-believers. You understand? They don't want to. They believe that it's all lies. No, maybe the Minister of Information will fall into that category. But there are also the proof seekers, to which some of us belong. I am not saying people did not die at Lekki toll gate, but I want to know.
You have not been substantially convinced.
I have not been substantially convinced that the number claimed is actually the number that died, and that they actually died because of out of gunshots or whatever. You understand? But let it be said that even if a person died, it is most regrettable. You understand? That has to be established.
But what about the reputation of these people that constituted that panel? Because when the panel was constituted, it was constituted, especially the justice that presided over that panel. So many things were said about her capability, about her integrity, years of experience, integrity, and then you bring this report, and then, as far as I'm concerned, it's like
fraught with inconsistencies.
Yes,
so how do we reconcile this?
You see, if this were to be an administrative panel of inquiry, maybe we could have excused these inconsistencies. But this is a judicial panel of inquiry that is supposed to be evidentially grounded. You understand? That is supposed to, be so convincing. Which recommendations must be must be well supported with facts, so that we are seeing this. It calls for worry about the Nigerian system, as far as I'm concerned.
All right. The point at which we are is that the governor is very, very desirous of bringing the whole issue to a close. He is actually seeking closure to all matters relating to EndSARS. So that was why he proposed the peace walk. What's your own idea of the peace walk? Do you think it's... yesterday, actually, openly gave an invitation to some protagonists of the EndSARS protest, to which some of them said no, they will wait to see justice before they can align with the governor and his team. So what's your own view about seeking a closure to the entire issue?
You see, we cannot even have closure to the EndSARS protest, because one, I need to ask Banji and Jumoke, between October last year and now, what has changed with the police? I'm asking. What has really changed?
Nothing really.
What has really changed?
Except maybe SARS has been disbanded.
But SARS only, SARS only, mutated into another, name. You need to just drive out now. They are in every spot, out there to harass the citizens. I was driving my car, under Ketu Bridge, just some days back, and this policeman stopped me. Okay, and he asked for every other paper I gave to him. He said, "Your driver's license." I said, "I don't have the physical one, but I can show you on my phone," and that became an issue. And he said, "No, we will take your vehicle to the station. You come and is it on your what you want is proof of my being licensed to drive, which I'm ready to provide, you to give you on, I'm ready to provide you with it on my phone, and you are making an issue out. And when he started and he said, well, we will take you to I said, okay, no problem, let's go to your station, because I know that at the station I will see a senior officer, and so he sat and and later he just got down from my car. And that's what a neighbor's, a friend's child who does business, imports artifacts from Kenya. They stopped him, ransacked his phone, whereas it's been said several times that no policeman has the right to ransack anybody's phone. They ransacked this young man's phone, and then what did they do? They detained him. But for the intervention of another very senior police officer, this boy will have been subjected to undue harassment and suffering. So what has changed? So that is the question. So before we do a closure to an issue, we need to have, adequately dealt with the cause of that matter. Then we can say, now that we are dealt, and I said it earlier on, that you don't talk of peace without justice, and you cannot have that justice without truth. So if you are talking about peace, I sympathize with the governor.
With our governor?
Yes, I sympathize with him. He wants peace. He wants the state to be at peace so that we can progress. And to that extent, it's well understood. You understand? But
as a matter of fact, if you add 11 accepted roles to the 6, so that's 17.
That's 17
out of 32.
And 14 out of those 32 are not within the jurisdiction of the state government. So you will want to say that as far as Lagos State is concerned, Lagos State is ready to do its own part of the deal. So it's ready to fulfill its own part of the deal. So to that extent, one can sympathize with and one can understand the position of the governor. But in fairness to the people who are saying they want to see justice done, I think I also align myself with their position that I want to see a police, you understand, that is really ready to serve the people. I want to see a police that is not acting as an army of occupation in the land. And our police, between October and now, you still see the police acting as an army of occupation. You understand? You need to just drive, the journey between Shagamu and Ore will take you maybe just about 1 hour plus. Go drive on that road, and you see, the legion of police officers on that road. And what do? Yes, we understand that their presence is necessary, for crime prevention. But when they now turn that presence to an avenue, to extort the very same citizens that they are supposed to protect, that is an issue, and that is what is still happening.
Now, what's your expectation of the 14 recommendations forwarded or proposed to be forwarded to the federal government? Do you expect, or what are you expecting? Do you expect the federal government to also embrace it the same way the governor of this state has embraced 11?
Yes.
If we can ignore what Alhaji Lai Mohammed has already said.
You see, and this has always been my problem with Alhaji Mohammed's usual belligerent, Bole Kaja style of, spokesmanship. He may even have it, he may have some point. But when you take the kind of position that you have taken, it, destroys whatever you even want to do. That may, in the future. Now, federal government may genuinely have, reasons to also, just like Lagos State rejected the one now, they may genuinely have, reasons to reject or to say or to modify, some of the recommendations, to accept and modify. They may have, and I expect that will be done. But by the time that is done, you see, our Honorable Information Minister's position has almost, so has made things difficult. And that's why I say, when I said it then, that yes, you may have reasons to pick holes in some of the recommendations and resolutions of the panel, but the manner in which you have done it will make things difficult for you in the future, and that is what may happen. But let's still believe that don't forget that when the American Secretary of State visited, because this report is not being monitored by just Nigerians. It has generated interest. You know, the issue of human rights generates interest, global interest. You understand? So we recall, you know, the incident that happened in U.S., the George Floyd, the matter, you know, that eventually led to Black Lives Matters protest. So it's always a global issue. So, and I expect that the federal government will be conscious of this fact, that it's not just, you know, the issue is not just about us now. It's a global issue. It's a global issue, and I expect that, because there will be backlash if federal government, you know, wants to sweep it away. Yeah, there will be backlash, you know. And the thing about it, the regrettable thing is that when the backlash comes, it will not only even be for the people in government alone. You know, the entire country may feel the pinch of it. So it's just best that federal government will look at the issues dispassionately, in the most dispassionate manner, and accept some of those recommendations. If some need to be modified, they do that. That is my expectation. And I just hope that, that the managers of our system at the federal level will realize the fact that I have said that it's not just about us. It's a global thing.
But Jumoke, before we transit, the governor of the state, that's Babajide Sowe, is almost at a crossroad now, because the youth that is trying to woo to join him in that work are actually saying no, that he will do the work alone. What other options? Because he's actually desirous of engaging them, the youth, as moving forward. So what do you suggest as the way of going forward on this issue?
The way of going forward on this issue is not up to our dear governor Sanwo-Olu. It's not, you know, in fairness to him, because you know, this issue mainly has to do with the police. You understand? And and its use of brute force on the citizens that they are supposed to protect. The governor is usually referred to as the chief security officer, but we know that that is merely, you know, nominal. That is just nominal, because the real power, the state governor cannot even give the police commissioner any directive, and he listens. He wants to take his order from Abuja. So it's at a cross, but I will want to recommend that whatever engagement that the state government needs to do with the federal government, the state government should do it. And not just Lagos state government alone, because this matter affects almost every Nigerian. I have cited the issue that you just take a drive between Shagamu and Ore. Even just take a drive within Lagos state now. You understand? You see the police are everywhere, harassing citizens in the name of, you know, crime prevention has even gone beyond all these physical, you know, histrionics and theatrics of wanting. No, you know, in the security, we go elsewhere. And you don't even see the police, you know, doing the kind of drama that ours do here. And yet you cannot get away with any crime over there. You know, real security these days, you know, is mainly run on intelligence. So that, you know, you don't even have to go there, search everybody, another ransack, and, you know, look for, you know, someone is carrying one 10-year-old TV set, and you are asking for the you are asking for the receipt, which if you have in your house, you can also not produce because you will have thrown it away, and you are making that an issue. You understand? So these are the things that the people are saying we should, do a closure on before we can do a closure on the NSAS matter. You understand? If we don't do a closure on this or not do on the police harassment still continues, unabated, and it can only NSAS has, as for me, it's only in limbo. You understand? There can be a resurgence anytime. One is not calling for violence, one is not an apostle of, but if it continues this way, if government is not addressing those issues, so I expect our governor to do engagement, whatever engagement it needs to do with the federal government. Let the state government do it so that, the federal government can adequately address the issue. How many people, I have asked you, if between October and now, if you've been monitoring the news, can you count the number of lives that have been, wasted by the police, even after the NSAS?
Well, people want
so
to
many
go into all
questions,
that,
few answers.
Because you know that even this NSAS kind of birthed a kind of anger and a desire for more among the youth. They are holding the leaders of their parties by the jugular now.
Yeah,
let's not go into that.
No,
I'm just making a comment.
No, it's
the youth are really asking for more participation, more change all around.
You see, if the people at the top are not worried about our situation now, I wonder what could worry them. Because the people are being pushed to the wall. The people's back are, by the wall now.
Already.
You understand? And they are. Before we transit to maybe any other issue, let me cite an issue that also went viral in the past 2 days. There is this community in Edo between the Benin-Sapele Road that the road had become totally impassable and unmotorable. And then I think some politically exposed people, then motorists will
make a
detour and pass through the community. And I think the youths did not have any issue with any motorist passing through the community. Maybe at best they would just ask for usual some the imposed tolls. But these politically exposed people too were coming with their entourage and siren and all that. And these youths, they blocked the road and said, no road. In fact, some were saying, shoot if you will shoot. That this road has to be fixed. So you are now, you are not deterring to our community.
Sorry.
So they said no road. And just yesterday or so, the governor had to go to that community to address them, to say that even though that road belongs to the federal government, he will mobilize, but must we wait? Must we wait till,
All right, so please let's just leave the topic there. We still have another issue, very challenging issue to talk about, talking about the terror attack on correctional centers. I know that some people will say, after all, we have so many correctional centers in Nigeria, and then we have only about 4 that have been attacked. Should we call that very challenging?
Well, before you actually answer that question, there has been reports have it that we've had rising numbers of these attacks over the years. Of course, it's got to the peak this year with about 4 or 5. But between 2009 and now, reports have it that we've had about over 4,000 inmates that have been set free illegally and have gone into thin air. Nobody can actually trace them. This year alone, we have the case of Owerri, with close to 2,000 inmates that were set free by the hoodlums or the government. We had the case of Oyo. That's Abolongo. The Minister of Interior was there and promised it to be the end.
Edo,
Kogi, Mena. And now the recent one in Jos with over 252
The one in Ikoyi did not
succeed. Now the one in Jos, 252 actually escaped. Only 9 were recaptured, with 9 lives lost or so. Now these are worrisome figures of people. In fact, in the case of that of Jos, the reports have it that about 99 were actually condemned prisoners. They have actually come back to the society. So we're looking at, I mean, how did you take this news? I mean, particularly of that of Jos.
It's not even that of Jos alone. For me, you understand, Jumoke was asking, how worrisome is this?
Yes, how worrisome. That right question.
It is extremely worrisome. It is extremely so. And I give you an instance. When the jailbreak in Edo took place, one of the people set free was a condemned criminal, and he escaped. What did he do? He went, for the one who came to give evidence, you understand, at the court to get convicted, and he killed the person. So that tells you what we are faced with. It tells you what we are faced with. So it's quite a worrisome phenomenon, and I want to say that with all sense of responsibility, I like Nigeria. I'm so passionate about this country, but
reason why you have not relocated?
I don't know even whether I even have the means to do that now. But then, you see, what we are seeing are things that usually happen before you have a failed state. You understand? We have all willingly surrendered our individual and collective will to the government to take care, of on our behalf. And that government seems to be failing in that responsibility now, because security is so important, for want of a better word, you understand, that nothing can happen without security. Because if you are talking of FDI, foreign direct investment, no investor wants to come and invest where his investment is not secure. If you are talking of human development index, whatever infrastructure you put in place, if there is no security, criminals can take over and destroy, as we have seen, in so many places. So this leaves us with a lot of worry, and rather than face the problem headlong, I think we are playing the ostrich. As far as I'm concerned, we are playing the ostrich. In fact, sometimes living in denial. And I will give you an example. Sometimes we are living in denial of this serious problem. One, you discover that in the case of the Jos incident, it was said that there was quick response by a combined team of security agents, and that they got the people trapped inside the prison, and then they were able to. But if you got the people trapped, how come 252 inmates were able to escape? If the response was that swift, if the response was as swift as we are being made to believe, how come that that as many as 252 inmates escaped? How come that only one out of the invaders was killed. How come that they all escaped, you know, and only one was killed? How come that up till now we have not seen anyone paraded? You know? So this is why I say we are playing ostrich with the situation. We are playing, you know, the usual propaganda that we are, and mind you, the correctional center in Jos is located within the same vicinity as the DSS. And the DSS, which is supposed to provide intelligence support for the security apparatus of the country, could not nip this in the bud through intelligence.
No, they said there was even exchange of gunfire for close to 1 hour.
You know, I'm even talking about intelligence. You understand? Because criminals don't just invade any crime location just like that. They also do reconnaissance. Before they go to a place, they will have, you know, done their reconnaissance, looked at, you know, their surveillance. Okay, where do we coming from? And in all that, you know, none of our intelligence mechanisms could detect their movement. And they came again too. We say we reacted swiftly, yet they all escaped. So these are issues.
Okay, there are big issues. Now, even for this year alone, we've mentioned about 4 or 5. The Minister of Interior, that's Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, has actually assured Nigerians, particularly in the case of Abolongo in Oyo, that the inmates would actually, those who actually escaped will be recaptured in no time. But these were just mere promises that have not been actually fulfilled. And one is wondering the implication of that, of the one that happened in Edo. Thank God the guy did not go beyond killing the man that testified against. If he had gone after the justice or several other people linked to that case, that would have been more fatal. Now we're saying that, what do you think the government could actually do? What do you suggest? Even though I know you are not a security expert, but from your own experience in case matters of this nature, what are the practical steps government can take?
Okay, you also know that, you know, the Senate has also
invited
Rauf Aregbesola for questioning. Is that part of what they should be doing?
You see, yes, you are right. You know that I'm not a security expert, just like you said. But let me, I think, take refuge under an age-long Yoruba adage that, you know, they say you don't have to be an experienced hunter before you know the footpath of an animal, before you see the footpath, because you just use your, you know that an animal has, you know, passed through this. You don't have to be an experienced hunter. If you see the footpath of an animal, you will know if an animal, you know, you will see the foot signs of the animal. And what am I saying? There are things that one will expect that, you know, that one will expect are not, they don't take much security expertise for you to know. There is a pattern. You think that these prisons are attacked just for the fun of it. No. What usually happens is that when, you know, an hardened criminal has been caught and, you know, maybe taken to these correctional centers, the people, his gang members who are outside want to go and free him. Even the one of Abolongo, you know, it has a, you know, the reason is, you
it
know,
was linked to
this man that was arrested at Igogon. It was linked to that. I forgot it. Alilu or Akilu, something like that.
The Fulani leader.
Yeah. So I expect that when you have, you know, high profile, you know, criminals or inmates in the cell, you don't need to be told that there may be moves by his gang members to want to come and attack the prison so that he can be freed. So I expect more proactiveness as against reactiveness that we practice. I expect proactive measures rather than remedial measures that we are taking, towards securing these correctional centers and other places. So we are being more reactive. We can be more proactive. So we don't even need to be a security expert to know that, proactiveness will do a better job for us and will get us a better result than we are getting presently. So for me, and I will also, apart from, then proactiveness will also mean that you deploy intelligence. Intelligence. You see, all this, like I've said, theatrics of someone carrying gun, displaying, cocking it, crack. It doesn't work anymore.
Don't you think that the military is a bit distracted? Yeah, overwhelmed, distracted with so many happenings going on at the same time.
You see, the military, in fact, this doesn't even have to involve the military. Like I've said, police, DSS, even the prison has armed guards. All you need to do is install the necessary equipment. You understand? Install the necessary equipment. Even in don't forget too that the correctional centers are supposed to be, a fortress that should be impregnable, even by its construction.
But we have them built 1950s.
So how are they built now? What is the structure of those correctional centers that now makes it so easy for them to be easily invaded? These are all issues. If you have to fortify the structures such that it becomes so difficult for them to, that they become almost impregnable. So these are all issues. They are not, you don't have to be a security expert. You don't have to. All you just need to do is to, put these measures in place that can, yes, we are not saying that there will be, you will not have some of these things, attempts, but then it becomes more difficult. Even the structure, by the structure of that, but these correctional centers were built, like you have said, in the 50s, some in the, Jos Correctional Center, I think, was built in 1952 or so. And then you still leave that structure there. And it becomes so easy for anybody to attack.
All right, I think that should be
the inmates are set loose. They are so the implications for us, even for the judiciary, those who want to adjudicate on the cases of crimes and all that, would that not have a kind of implication on the kind of justice we get henceforth?
That is it.
Would the judges not also be thinking of their safety in case those sentenced to death are able to come out of prison?
So you can see the spiral binding effect. You understand? It's a lot. It's quite a lot. We just hope that like I said, we just hope that the managers or the handlers of our system will, wake up to this realization and then do the needful.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ademola Adegoke. That's the show for today. My name is Banji Busari. Let me beat you market to eat today.
Yeah. See you again next week, Monday. Bye-bye.